Welcome to Deepnight Revelation. We will be picking up where we left off last week. These guys are, they have found a cluster of people, of humans and droid that have created a group of polities way off here on the, I guess, we just talked about this. It's on the rimward side of the Great Rift. Excuse me. And these guys were evidently, I guess you could call them refugees of a problematic corporation during the Union of Earth, or the Great Earth Union, or whatever it was called, during the rule of man, the short-lived Second Imperium that ended up leading to the Long Night. And this corporation ran afoul of their government, as well as other corporations, as you do. And rather than deal with the consequences, because at that time the consequences often led to mass assassinations, and so they bugged out and they followed a at that time an early exploratory mission that was put out from Earth in this direction. And the problem is that a lot of their ships misjumped. And so many of their ships were completely lost, but some of them weren't. And some of them ended up not in the same location, but in the general vicinity. And this has led to the Commonwealth being created, who has a integrated society with the droid that were with them. There's also the Great Republic, which is not so great and not so much of a republic, but there they are. And then there are a couple of other minor polities. The one that they are dealing with presently is a minor polity called the Empire of Envais, who mostly likes to raid and essentially pick on smaller worlds within their domain. And they have an embassy on Tradeport, where this neutral port where these guys are attempting to, they have successfully negotiated for use of their mobile dockyard, because Revelation's jump drives are kaput. And so they have negotiated this. There have been some, I guess you could say, concessions made in trade, because they don't have much in the way of the local currency. I think Mel's got like 300 Commonwealth credits available to him. But aside from that, the Marcus Feisler, the leader of Tradeport, or the Tradeport Consortium, has granted the travelers and their crew ship, or basically station-wide credit, and not just station-wide, but also downport credit on the planet of Bayou down below. And the idea being is that, as long as it's all spent in the casinos and on Tradeport or on Bayou's downport, we'll just write it off, because it's all internal economics anyways, right? It's all coming back to us, so we didn't spend really anything. But there are some concessions that have been made in order to facilitate the repairs needed. When they got here, they brought along a envoy from the planet. I don't remember the name of the planet. Anyways, their planet was hit by these raiders, and they knew, the city knew that they were being raided by somebody named Earl Egrane. And come to find out, Earl Egrane runs the Empire of Envais' embassy on Tradeport, and these guys have met him. In fact, Bocephus has scanned his surface thoughts and found that this guy is shady. And they have now requested, come to find out, the two ships that raided the city of Rael on this planet are docked at the private temporary dock on Tradeport that the Empire of Envais, also known as Little Envais, has taken over, and these two ships are docked there, and so he is taking them to these two ships. I assume that they want to question the. I don't know what their plan is. We're going to find out. Before we get started, we would like to point out that we do have a merch store via Zazzle. We've got t-shirts and buttons and hoodies and Whiskey Rocks glasses, and we've got beer steins and poster maps and a fleece blanket. There's all sorts of stuff on that store. And 100% of the proceeds from that store goes directly back into our channel. It helps us cover the cost of things like Roll20 Pro. It helps us cover Incarnate Pro, even the software that we use to make these videos. So, if you would like to help us out to make those minor ends meet, we would appreciate it. Go get yourself a t-shirt, and we thank you for everything that you do. All right, so you guys make your way to the docks, and I have this. There it is, right there on top. So these are the ships. They are, all of their ships here are they look like Tetris pieces. All of their ships look like Tetris pieces. But these are the ships, the Malin 2 class. Now, the Malin 2 is a variant. The Malin class is a standard light transport that you would find across the Commonwealth, and even, I mean, the entire region. We'll just call it the FSN region, Far Side of Nowhere region. And these ships are just common tramp traders that move cargo, you know, as you would. Like, you guys are totally familiar with these. These particular vessels, the Malin 2, have been upgraded, and I don't, this, in addition to the two single turrets, or I'm sorry, the 4 single turrets, these ships are also equipped with a barracks in lieu of an additional 32 tons of cargo space. So that's your big difference. But these two ships are docked. They had great names. They are scanning. The Bindley's Barge and Great Deals with an exclamation point. These were the two Malin 2 class ships that were reported to have raided Rael on the planet Nasar. So, why don't you guys tell me? He's leading you through Little Envais, and most of Little Envais is packed full of people. I mean, there are these corridors. You're in a high port, and normally these corridors are quite wide. This being part of the main concourse, but Little Envais, the corridors are choked. Not only with people, throngs of people, but all of the shops have their front storefronts open. There are small kiosks choking the passage, and so in a lot of cases, you find yourselves having to turn sideways to get through people. Earl Egrane and his entourage, when they walk, the crowds part. And so it's much easier for you to get through. Why don't you tell us what are your guys' plans when you get to this private dock? I mean, what are you looking to do here?
Well, I mean,
Don't we have fetch quests to do?
You do, yes. So part of
yeah.
your concessions was not immediately, of course. I mean, this is all happening in the same day. But there is the issue going on the planet Grit, where they have not, where Tradeport has not received any of their. There's been a slowdown, and now they haven't received the last two shipments of ore coming from Grit. And then there's an issue with the locals. Timber production is slowed down on Wildwood, claiming there's some kind of Sasquatch running around killing people or threatening them. So there's those two issues.
I mean, I'm just sort of wanted to see how they handled it. And so we're going to see how they handle it.
Okay.
If that's kind of what we're doing. We're going. I mean, the dude knows that we know that he did it. So I hinted that he'd get a chance to cover it up if he lays the hammer down on these son of a bitches for raiding. And
Okay. I mean, is everybody else in agreement with this?
Yeah, I'm not sure what will actually accomplish other than possibly pissing people off.
I'm pilot. I fly.
So, you guys, I'm sorry, is Mel on board with this idea that you just want to see how how early Grain is going to handle this, or was there something you wanted to do on top of that?
Well, I'm interested. My highest concern is making sure the ship is safe the entire time we're in dry dock, especially since it's now looking like it's going to take weeks, particularly with the casino in the fucking joint.
Right,
so
and
my highest priority is that.
So
Second would be trying to make some real fucking money.
Right. So when we closed out last week, you guys had decided to do the high security on the ship. This means with high security on Revelation that it's going to take 62 weeks to complete, and it's a little bit longer. There's a couple of weeks worth of additional time because you guys have agreed to kind of train some of the engineers from Tradeport, kind of teach them what the fuck they're doing. Because part of that also is that you are having to repair the mobile dry dock for them. And so you're repairing the dry dock, which come to find out it's not really that broken. It's just that none of their engineers or they don't have any engineers is what it comes down to.
Right.
So you're training some new people to be mechanics and assistant deckhands that can maintain this shit. And that adds a couple of weeks. But it comes down to about 62 weeks. And during that time, because of the high security, this means that Deepnight Revelation will be down for 20% of the time. Now, during the periods where it is completely immobile, and guns are completely powered down, of course, the spinal mount would be useless. The science and other labs aboard the ship, and of course medical facilities, all of that, are still up and running, but the rest of the ship is pretty much comatose during that time because it cannot maneuver, it can't aim weapons. All power is going to be shut down to minimums, basically keeping science labs and everything else operating, and everything else is shut down for 20% of the 62 weeks. So, but that also that increases the amount of time, but it gives you guys a much more secure position. So,
Plus the 20% that it's down. I mean, we can keep that classified. We don't really have to announce that.
oh, you're not going to have to announce it to anybody. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
but
So if they try something, it's only a 20% chance that they catch us with our pants down, all the way down, and and they don't necessarily have a way of knowing when our pants are all the way down or not.
right. So
Yeah.
Earl Egrane has also he knew that you got who you guys were. I mean, it's hard. You're the biggest ship in the system at 75,000 tons. There, you literally dwarf everybody else. The biggest ship that they've got is like 20 to 30,000 tons in the system. So at 75, Deepnight Revelation is enormous, and their highest tech level in the region is tech level 12. So I mean, they're not slouches at TL12, but at TL15, you definitely you are ahead of the curve. And Early Grain knew that you were there even before you came to see him. Because, like I said, it's all he has to do is look out the window and see this huge mobile fortress moving towards the dock. And so he has offered essentially any assistance that you guys could possibly want. But Josephus, in reading his surface thoughts, I don't remember exactly. Well, Josephus read his surface thoughts, and Josephus knows that Egrane not only was aware that Great Deals and the other ship were responsible for the attack on Rael. He knows that he basically ordered it. So, and he's doing a, I guess you could say, a fair job of trying to hide that fact. But those two ships are docked here. In fact, these guys actually, as they were coming into dock at the ambassadorial port, they saw these two ships coming into port. So, so there's that. So you guys move through the throng of little Envais, and you come to this area. It can't even really be called a dock. It is a makeshift airlock has been set up. There is still scaffolding all over the area, the walls, and there's plastic tarps hanging down and buckets of paint, and it's completely unfinished. It was never meant to be finished. It was never meant to be a permanent dock, and little Envais has taken it over, more or less. It looks like when you first arrived, the immediate thought in your head was that this was a temporary airlock that was created to fix something, and then the money ran out. Kind of like if you've ever been to Oregon, the city of Portland will tear up a street saying that they're going to fix the potholes and everything, and then leave it for 3 years with just gravel and a rough edge where the concrete has been cut down because they ran out of money and funding, and then 3 years later, then they'll finish it. And then they, for some reason, want a pat on the back. That's what this looks like, is that money ran out, and it was just, at least temporarily, abandoned. And the ambassador or the embassy of Empire of Envais swooped in and said, "Well, we're going to use it," and so they have this temporary dock, and there's just this airlock that goes out to scaffolding outside of outside of the airlock out into open space that connects to these two ships, and there are a number of armed guards standing here, and Early Grain steps up and he says, "I want you to go get me both captains, the captains of Bindley's barge and the captains of Great Deal. I need to speak to them both immediately." And one of these guards that are, I mean, they're standing around openly with submachine guns, and I mean they look like common ruffians on the street. They're not wearing anything more than like a ballistic vest. This one guy just hops too, like, "Yes, sir," and he turns and he puts on he starts putting on a vac suit because he's got to go through the airlock, and Egrane turns and he says, "It'll take just a moment. You have to understand that our dock is not as advanced as the rest of Tradeport."
Well, I guess we'll wait. Yeah, if
Everybody
if it, yeah.
everybody can make a recon plus intellect check. Oof. I think Bocephus might have plugged his blowhole on that one.
Yeah, I'm not paying attention.
I don't trust these people. I'm watching everything they do.
Yeah, you are. So, Sarda and Jack, or I'm sorry, Sarda and Mel, you are noticing. I mean, Egrane is going on and on about basically about all the troubles of Tradeport and how it was originally envisioned to be this great neutral power that brought all of the politics of the region together, and that it was going to be this free area where we could all come together in mercantile trade. And you guys are noticing that so one of the guys has gotten into his vac suit, his TL-12 vac suit, and has opened the airlock and is essentially crossing his fingers that everything works and makes his way out to the ships. The other three that are standing there, you note that they haven't raised their weapons, they haven't cocked their weapons, nothing, but all of them seem nervous and very twitchy. Pappy, you kind of look over your shoulder, and so this is a small side area off of the main concourse where Little Envais is set up, and you know, probably about 5 meters back, there's a little 3-meter wide hallway that goes back out into what is Little Envais. And you kind of look over your shoulder, and a small crowd has formed that are kind of looking in and fearfully watching this gathering and mumbling amongst themselves.
Well, that's. I'll just be like, we have an audience. Look at that. I don't think they plan for this to go well for us.
So Egrane kind of hears that, and he turns, he kind of looks over your shoulder and goes, "Oh, hello. Yeah, they don't get to see me very much."
All right. Might want to, reiterate that if something bad happens to us, something bad would probably happen in response to this.
No. There would be nothing bad that would happen.
Right. Okay.
Don't worry, we are completely
we don't.
safe here.
Yeah, we don't have firing solutions already calculated.
So, about another 2 minutes goes by of this, and Egrane just keeps going on about all the troubles that little Envais. It's always about little Envais. It's not about Tradeport as the whole. It's about all the problems that Tradeport has brought on to little Envais itself. Like it's everybody else's fault. Not
Oh.
never the fact that probably little Envais was never meant to be a part of this anyways. I mean, if they want an embassy, that's one thing. But they've taken over a small city, or a couple of blocks at least. And so he just keeps going on. And finally the airlock door opens up, and you see that these three individuals come out. One is, of course, the security individual that went to get them, and then there are these two other individuals, and they take off their helmet, and they immediately step to. They're not. It's not military, but they step right up in front of Egrane and present themselves as the captain of Great Deals and Bindley's something. Anyways, these two ships. And Egrane says, so, I need to know immediately, did either of you attack the city of Auril on Nasar? And
I will interrupt and be like, oh, if I may, I happen to have truth serum handy. If I could inject them with the truth serum, that'll ensure that they tell the truth.
So both of them seem really nervous at that, and the captain of Bindley's barge says, well, yes, sir. We did that under order, and he doesn't even get the word out, and Egrane snaps his fingers, and one of his guards shoots the guy in the head. And he looks over at the captain of Great Deals. He says, so, Captain, what is your excuse? And he looks over at the dead guy laying on the floor with the Gauss slug in his forehead and says, well, I was just following orders, sir. He led the operation. He says, that's what I thought. Well, we can't fault you for just following orders, can we? He says, gentlemen, are you satisfied? I've dealt with the problem, as you can see.
Following orders from who?
And you see Egrane kind of turn and look at the guy, and he says, oh, well, from the captain of Bindley's barge, sir.
Right. He was receiving orders from someone, though. So who was he receiving those orders from?
I'm too far down on the totem pole. I don't have access to that information.
Where's Resurrect Dead when you need it?
Yeah. Oh no, I could bring the guy back mechanically by the rules. I don't
know. This was a shot right to the forehead. I mean,
he might not be able to talk or nothing, but I mean,
mechanically, according to the rules, even with a shot to the face, you can still bring him back to life with a couple of paddles.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, all I'm trying to do is cause fucking a little chaos that'll make them less deal with other shit more than us. So I mean, if there's him offering the captain on an order, that's gotta hurt his standing with his men.
So Egrane turns to the captain of Great Deals and he says, here's what I want you to do. You followed his orders against my wishes. And I want you to go and I want you to bring all of that cargo that you looted from that planet, and I want you to place it right here on the deck, and we are going to give it back to this man. And Egrane reaches back and pulls the envoy forward. Says, we're going to give it back to this man so that he can bring it back to his people on Nasar. And
can he have the ship that is now captainless? Can he use that temporarily as the transport for the stolen cargo? Why don't you just have those guys put the stuff back where they took it?
Make a persuade plus social check.
We'll give it a shot.
That gives them 2 weeks to think about what they've done.
Yeah, man.
You rolled snake eyes twice in a roll. Oh my god, fuck this dice roller. You better change colors, my friend.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna see if it does it a third time. Fuck. But
remember, this happened to us last Saturday where I rolled like 3 1s in a row or something like that? It was dumb.
Yeah. It's fucked up. But I mean it is what it is.
I'm telling you, it's just like in real life. You reach in, you pull out another dice. That should not have any bearing on the factor at all, but chaos theory. It works.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Change the color. It'll flip a bit.
I did.
You'll be able to roll better. It works. I don't know why. So he kind of looks like he's pondering this idea, and the envoy, of course, from Rael says, "Well, I don't know anything about flying a ship. I've never." And he's like stammering, like he's suddenly scared. He's like, I don't know anything about this, and he's like looking at Bocephus, the Dolphin Man, like, why would you suggest this? The envoy, remember that Nasar, the city of Rael, has a tech level 5 economy. He knows nothing about flying a ship.
Look, if you take your time before you do the action, you'll have a greater degree of success. Trust me on this.
So now you're only at a -1.
Yeah.
Trust me, astrogation is just simple math. It's no big deal.
Just go slow with it, friend. You'll be okay.
And so Egrane goes, well, that is a good point. I can see your position. He says, and he does. Egrane says, well, I mean, there's that wouldn't be too big of an issue. And he turns again, kind of looking out of the side of his eye, side-eyeing the captain of Great Deals. And he says, it wouldn't be that big of a deal for you to return all of this, along with our friendly envoy here, would it, since you caused all of these problems? And the captain says, yes, sir. Whatever you want, sir.
That's about the best I can ask. I mean, we got somebody murdered, and we got the.
Well, we're done here.
looks like y'all are honorable, legit motherfuckers to me. I don't know.
Either that, or they're gonna just murder this guy mid-jump and
right. But I'll look at
do some more looting to the planet.
Yeah, I'll look the guy in and I'll go look. You're doing things.
It was really nice knowing you.
Well, no, hear me out. I told you that if you walked a good path forward, that things would happen to you. So here's what I suggest: is we're gonna be here for a little while. And here on this station, I will hold a medical presentation that will raise the level of medicine beyond anything that you guys have, and all of the high-end doctors and physicians and stuff will surely come and spend a lot of money here on the station. You should make a lot of profit, and at the end, your ability to care for, you know, the medical the well-being of your people will increase.
So he his immediate question is, well, can you supply us with documentation and whatnot in order for our doctors? He's not a doctor. He's like, can you supply us with documentation that will back up any procedures that you offer? And he says, and really, he says, are you going to be able to demonstrate these procedures at a level of understanding that my people will be able to understand, or will you be able to supply us with medical goods?
I'm going to be able to supply you with knowledge, with documentation, with records. I'm going to supply you with all of it. I'm also going to teach and help the understanding, as well as many recordings, just assuredly as a chicken has a pecker. You know?
So he, I mean, to the envoy, this sounds
And he's like, "What's a chicken?"
pretty fantastic. He does, the envoy does bring up, he says, well, I mean, are you going to have time for all of that?
Yeah, man. I'm just a doctor and the ship's counselor.
62 weeks is a long time.
It is quite a while,
saying,
yes.
man. Yeah, I mean,
But it's like you said, I mean, a round trip, you know, to Grit, for instance, is 4 weeks in and of itself. There's 28 days. So,
right.
You know.
Well, I mean, that's over a year, dude. I'm telling, like, yeah, man, put out the word, and 6 months from today, I will set up and I'll spend a month here, and I will give y'all a medical symposium, a med con is what we'll call it.
I'm sorry, it wasn't 62 weeks. It was 62 days.
Oh, okay. I was going to say 62 weeks seemed really
Yeah,
long.
that 62 weeks was way too long. Yeah.
Last week,
well,
I was going to say last week didn't seem that long, and I was like, 62 weeks, boy, okay.
Yeah, no.
Well,
you're not going to be here for that many years.
Yeah. Well, if that's the case, then I'll be like, yeah, what I can do is you can give me a couple of your medical professionals, and I will install the Neuralink into them, and then we'll just.
You would have to go back to Nacer, which is 4 parsecs back, in order to grab one of their people and bring them back. I mean, you could theoretically install a neural jack into him.
Yep.
And load him up with a wafer.
Man, if he wants to come, I can give you upgrades, man. Oh my God. I have been wanting somebody to upgrade for quite some time. Would you like a car alarm in your pecker? In case somebody tries to steal it, of course.
Yeah, you just got to thrust your hips and it'll unlock your doors.
Hell yeah.
They're at atomics, primitive computing,
right?
Internal combustion, widespread electrification.
Okay. Yeah, they're still. So, as an example, during this raid on Rael, which I believe that only Sarda and Mel were here for, they had steam-driven boats that were pumping water and putting out fires on the docks.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not wanting to go there.
No, I'm just saying that's like that's what you're talking about. But they had experience with ships landing. They knew there were higher tech level civilizations.
Yeah, the downside is we brought this guy with us, and now he's been given all this cargo, and so it means we're going to have to go back.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to. I mean, you're on Tradeport. I mean, there are options. You don't have to go back. There are options. Give me 1 second.
I don't want to go to that bullshit planet.
Actually,
Uh,
if they could hammer out a trade agreement with a merchant that was willing to not screw them over, but actually, trade in good
Mhm.
faith with them, it would, that would probably work really well.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna give this dude a bunch of upgrades, and then in part of the upgrades, I'll put a motherfucking little bomb, and then when we leave system, the little bomb in his brain will blow up.
Why would you do that? He's an ally of ours.
You gonna blow
Because
up
he's a
somebody's brain?
dirtbag pirate motherfucker, man.
Oh, that you're talking about that guy. I thought you were talking about the diplomat from the planet.
Yeah, the
not
envoy is
the
a good guy.
diplomat. I'm talking about the Ferengi motherfuckers running this fucking place. You know, they're obviously flat earthers.
Fucking flat earth. So after a while, yep, the crew in spacesuits, vac suits, they start bringing in these crates, and they set them down, and each of them opens up. There's like 4 crates, not much from what you would have expected. One crate is filled with these little white credit plaques that Mel has seen before because he's got 300 of them. One crate is filled with these Commonwealth credit plaques, and they all have a black circle on them that you can hold your thumb to, and they are imbibed with electronics, tech level 12 electronics, that allow you to either set it for open or closed and adjust the amount, etc. There is the other 3 are essentially filled with loot. Paintings and statues and gold candelabras. Anything that wasn't nailed down, these guys were taking. I think there's a rug rolled up in front of them.
Really?
It's not a whore rug.
Okay. Well, you get my interest with that. That's a different game.
Different game.
Yeah.
that's a
Inside
good
joke.
Yeah. Everybody's got to have a retirement plan, and I'm going to be a rug salesman.
Yes, you're gonna be Roy from Rick and Morty. You went back to being a rug salesman? Weak. So, they bring out these like 4 cargo containers and open them up, and that's what's inside. And this envoy kind of looks it over, and he kind of ignores the crate full of Commonwealth credits, and kind of looks through the other 3, because to him those other 3 are historical heirlooms and shit like that cannot be replaced. I mean, of course, the Commonwealth credits, of course, are vastly important to his people too, but there's no way of knowing if every credit's there. I mean,
Right.
unless you want him to sit there cross-legged and just sit there and count, because I mean he'll do that, but
That's all his shit. And it looks like this other guy is going to take him and all this shit back to his homeland, right?
well, I mean,
And then
yeah,
we're going to take this Viscount or whatever to Deepnight Revelation, where I'm going to give him.
Your envoy, the envoy who is counting all this stuff, he's the one that you are talking to about this possible medical revelation and giving him abilities. And so go ahead and make another persuade plus social check.
Yeah, I can I can give you a cognitive augmentation to, make your ticker work pretty good, and then
Man,
back
that
that up with
cognitive
a.
augmentation is a really, really smooth way of saying wafer jack or or even
Well,
neural jack. I mean, if you want to,
It'll.
jack his entire nervous system, turn this guy into a world-class surgeon.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna just offer the cognitive augmentation to raise his intelligence, and then the Neuralink and the Neurojack, and then some data packs.
Don't forget, the
I'm-
neural jack includes a Neuralink.
Yeah, I got 10.
Yeah, he as he's sitting there going through everything, he's like, anything that you can do to help me help my people is great. But he does say outright that he is not comfortable being taken back to Nasar aboard these guys' ship. And he kind of just looks at you, and he kind of whispers that, I don't think I'll make it.
Oh well, I mean, now the diplomat from Nasar. He can go with his stuff, or he can book passage with another ship. I mean, he has options. He's got a fucking box full.
He's got a box full of credits, right?
Well,
Exactly.
Well, ideally we'd like to try to find a merchant, a trader that has a ship that's going to be a little bit more reliable and is willing to set up a regular schedule back and forth, so that they can benefit from actual trade rather than just being raided and protection money being collected.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll work out. I mean, you guys could set that up.
Building.
I'm sorry, what was
I
that?
don't know.
It is the most ideal way to let him fly back with his shit, is to find a reliable merchant willing to go back and forth between his system and this
And
on a
and
regular trade run.
Yeah.
he
Setting
brings
up a
up
regular trading partner works way better than just a random one-time trip.
he says, well, wouldn't it be possible that I could get a ride back with Captain Clayton?
You could.
He says, we have a personal relationship with Captain Clayton, and I wouldn't necessarily say that we trust her, but I trust her more than this situation.
Sure.
That sounds great.
That's certainly an option that you could pursue. I think you have as much reason to doubt her as we do, and so if you think that's the best bet, then go for it. I was just suggesting that while you're here, there's possibly other captains that have other ships that are maybe a little more reliable.
So he does. He says, well, there probably are other captains, and there may be some that are even more trustworthy. But as I said, Nasar has a relationship with Captain Clayton. She delivered our communications device, which was how you were able to contact us to begin with. Which for Wes and for Brian, this communications device was a tech level 10 personal communicator. So essentially a walkie-talkie that was connected to a TV antenna on top of their building.
Huh.
Yeah.
Which she probably charged a shitload for.
Which she probably charged money to show them how to do it. But I mean, you can't complain. It worked. It was basically a personal transceiver that was connected to a Pringles can, and that's how they were able to reach them from orbit. And so, she's not great, and he knows that. He's not dumb. I mean, he's lower tech level, but he's not stupid. Like she's
the
not
double
great.
you know versus the double you don't kind of deal.
Yeah,
Right.
I think that's great because that gets rid of two motherfuckers that we don't need to deal with. We got Tagalong guy. He's going back. He's got stuff, and he can start, a trade route. And then the the Job of
He's-
the Hut guy in the area. We're taking him to the Deepnight to give him a lot of operations.
No, you're
he's going in-
taking the diplomat back to Deepnight to do a lot of operations.
No, I wasn't offering the diplomat.
Who are you offering it to? Because there's no
I'm
way
not-
anybody else is going to accept it.
Oh,
The
no,
only
I don't
one-
give a fuck.
The only one from Nasar that has any interest in furthering their people with medical knowledge would be the diplomat.
I wasn't offering the Nasar people. I'm sorry for the confusion. I was dangling that carrot in front of the dude running this space station. Because
I
I
think that's
know
what he's
he's
saying.
ordered.
That guy doesn't care. I don't
Yeah,
think
if
that
he
guy cares
doesn't
enough
care
to
about
accept the offer.
getting
Yeah, he has no
augmented
interest in
becoming-
that.
then we'll just not do that. But I mean, I don't give a fuck about sticking a carrot in front of the Nasar people thing.
Yeah,
That
the
seems
envoy
like a
from
lot of-
Nasar's the only one that would be interested in because they're tech level 5. He's the only one interested in gaining knowledge of medical procedures and possibly technology
Yeah.
that would allow him to teach others. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I could give him a
Egrane
series of books.
gives no fucks about that, like none.
Yeah, I could give him a couple tablets packed full of information that he can take home and increase his stuff. That's cool. But I see no reason to try to placate a guy that we're already helping. I was talking
Here
about.
we thought you were just being nice.
I know,
No.
right?
I was talking about. I don't want to go to Nasar. I mean, I've already not been.
But you
there.
don't have to go to Nasar. You would be able to
Yeah.
do surgery on this guy, and install the neural link and jack and
Well,
all of
I'll
that.
do it because I'll do it. But he's getting muscular bridging too.
So he's gonna be a surgeon that's jacked.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like an episode of fucking Grey's Anatomy.
we may not have a lot of time for this. We
I know,
know that we know that 28 out of our 68 days are allocated just to travel. In order
And
to do the
you
fetch
can
quest.
actually up that to what 56 days because you got 2 planets to go to. So
Well, I was assuming it's two. Is it one jump or 2 jumps to each?
it's
'Cause I thought it was only
one
one
jump
jump.
to one, and then it would be one jump to another, or one jump to one and back, and then one jump to another and back. So either way, you're looking at like what 56 days
Okay.
out of the 62.
Well, then, yeah. Apparently, due to the confusion and me doing lots of drugs, I was mistaken, and I can't do a lot. I've got a couple of tablets that have a lot of.
And I mean, you've got tech
meta-
level 15 tablets. I mean, they've got like all you got to do is show him the hand motions, and they'll do holographic displays and all of that shit.
Yeah, here you go, buddy. Go teach your people how to operate and carry on. Take this captain, and y'all, go on and get.
For anybody who hasn't seen The Expanse, you need to watch that. If for nothing else, like the way that they incorporate like Samsung Galaxy phones motions that you can do. Like for instance, I can move my hand across my screen and it'll take a screenshot.
Yeah.
But they have like instances where they'll take their phone and they'll throw whatever's on the phone and it becomes a holographic display. That's the kind of shit that you guys are dealing with. It's a great example of how this stuff works. So, Egrane...
Seriously, it's on. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, I was saying, obviously, then that he would have lots of battery life. It probably has a little solar cell on it or something.
It probably
He's
does
already
have a solar
got-
cell, I would think.
Yeah. So here you go, man.
Especially if
this
it's a field
already-
unit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you've got some options here, and so Egrane kind of claps his chubby, sweaty hands together, and he goes, "So, sounds like everything is taken care of. So, and he comes up to you guys, and he kind of pulls all of you into almost like a football huddle, and he's got his fat, greasy hands on you, and he's like, so I want to make sure that you know that you are available to enter any of the casinos in Little Envais, non-gratis, on the house. You can play as many games as you want. You can even walk away with the earnings. I want you to feel welcome on Tradeport.
I bet he does.
Thank you for your hospitality.
You are very, very welcome, sir.
We've got to get to jumping, but before we leave, we'll stop by and give you a parting gift to let you know we appreciate the hospitality.
As you are turning to step away, you're turning to leave this entire ensemble, and Egrane. See, now I'm just converting the two words and adding them together. Egrane turns to his people, to some of the people, and he says, "Well, help the envoy carry his equipment, or carry his gear back to their ship, imbeciles." And he turns, and as you guys are turning to walk away, he says, "I hear there's a trade dispute going on Grit."
Is that one of our fetch quests?
It is.
Yes,
it is. It is. That things have gone. They've been filing misinformation or incomplete reports slowly, and shipments have been falling off and have recently stopped.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And he tells you, and he openly says, "Well, it would be an unfortunate situation, considering that your repairs will probably need vast amounts of mineral wealth."
Yeah, we'll go sort out your tribute. Let's. I think that's our first priority.
Well, no, I can give you a little of insight into the situation going on Grit. You wouldn't want to set down on that world and step into a union squabble.
I found labor usually is right. What are they asking?
Says interesting that you say that labor is usually right. I have ties to the labor union working on Grit, and they do have, in my opinion, they do have a legitimate concern. It seems that the Trade Consortium has not really held up to requests for repairs to their equipment, and it has gotten to the point where it's a little bit dangerous. And he says, "But I know you already have an agreement with Executive Marcus Feisler, and I don't want to get in the middle of that, but I just thought that you should know what you're getting into."
Yeah,
our agreement is not to settle the dispute. Our agreement is to go see what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, it's very obvious here that you guys have fallen behind on basic maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
And if the same is true there, I'm sure it has led to dangerous working conditions.
You are correct, son. You are correct all the way. In fact, Marcus Feisler has caused nothing but problems as far as Tradeport is concerned, and if I were to be administrator of Tradeport, I can see to it that I would make sure that everything would be repaired.
No.
Okay, well, whatever. I mean, somebody should. You know,
Somebody ought to do it.
Yeah,
Maybe not you,
we're,
but
we're not here to we're here to uplift the people that uplift us. We're not here to pick sides or
Yeah, like that
quabble
sounds like
about
a
who killed who. This is supposed to be a happy occasion.
he says, well, he says if it helps you in any way, it was my understanding that Marcus, you wouldn't be the first delegation that Marcus Feisler sent to Grit. It was my understanding that he sent some envoys previously. They never returned. I haven't heard any word from the trade union on what's going on Grit, but I wouldn't be surprised if something nefarious happened to those envoys that Marcus Feisler sent.
did their ship return?
No, sir.
All right. That is worrisome.
Yeah. Well, sounds like we ought to be prepared to fight when we go.
Heavily armed is the way to go, son.
Let's make sure that everything seems to be smoothly progressing here, and then let's jump.
Yeah.
So
by smoothly progressing, what are you?
well, I mean, they're basically having to build. They're having to build the
Yes, they're having to repair the mobile dock.
Right.
So, Sarda, you can make a admin plus intellect check.
Sure.
Does anybody want to check up on the envoy from Nasar?
Snake eyes on that admin.
Oof.
I mean, I can check up on them. I guess.
Go ahead and make either your choice, either admin or diplomat plus intellect.
I don't know if you guys knew this, but I have a fairly good admin roll.
Then why don't you do that?
You might want to do that. Yeah, I mean, to assist Sarda at least. Yeah, hey, there you go. So Jack and Sarda. Jack and Sarda are able to sort out the mess of reports that are coming in. Essentially, what the reports coming in, it was just a mess of paperwork and communications that boiled down to stupid fucking locals from the engineering crews aboard this mobile dock. And
right.
It's not really that they're stupid fucking local. I mean, yeah, it is. Fucking boomers. They are actually just not trained to do this shit. And whoever it was that was paid to build Tradeport never stuck around. Or probably because the money ran out. And so
management just let it slide.
They just let it slide through, and they've got anybody that they possibly can doing stuff, and these people don't know what they're doing. And the mobile dock it's all a bunch of minor things that these guys that your guys are saying is going to take like less than a week and a half for them to get this up and running, and then they're going to be able to start working on Revelation. One very optimistic estimation thinks that they might be done before the 62 days, but he's the only one. Josephus, you kind of follow up, and these guys did actually deliver the stolen cargo or stolen loot from Nasar to Captain Clayton's ship, which you guys had disembarked. They deliver it and load it up into Clayton's chariot. They do it so well that they refuse assistance from the crew of Clayton's chariot. They will only load it themselves. And then they were nice enough to shake his hand and apologize before leaving.
Oh, damn. It was like, we're going to do everything to make this look good, because apparently we need to make this look good.
Well, they capitulated quite well. And Captain Clayton has agreed to ferry them back to Nasar and to the city of Oriel. And she is only requesting a moderate fee of 300 Confederate credits to do so.
She's like, I'll do y'all a solid.
Yeah.
I mean, that barely covers
come from?
her cost of fuel.
When
Right.
did she get nice?
Well, I'm sure she's also gonna buy and sell.
Oh, yeah.
Right. She's probably already loaded most of her cargo hold full of stuff from Tradeport and is then going to turn around and sell it for a profit at Nasar. So it's a
We
win-win
can,
for her.
Yeah, we could probably be happy with that. I mean,
Yeah.
we buried the people that befriended us, and we got the female Han Solo. Solid work and trade, so she's happy.
And
She can take that to
she
these
actually radios in and she sends her message to Bocephus that, I hope to see you guys around. Good luck, Dolphin Man.
Oh, well, I'll send her back, may your eggs meet sperm in a wonderful time.
In the words of my people.
Yeah, in the words of my people, may your eggs meet sperm.
You're a dolphin, not a sturgeon, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Don't sit down on any rocks.
Yeah.
But, so,
If you lay an egg, you're probably the wrong species.
to let's see here. So the situation on Grit, does anybody want to? Here's one for Pappy. Pappy, go ahead and make your choice, either admin plus intellect or admin plus intellect or education, or an electronics computers plus intellect or education.
I'll go admin.
Okay. Look at Pappy. So you
What
kind
did I
of
do really well?
you kind of look into this this information that Earl Egrane provided you, and it is open on Tradeport's computer networks that yes, there was a delegation that was sent to Grit, but they never returned, and they were sent shortly after the first shipment of ore never arrived, and nobody's heard from them. And it seems that in the information that you're looking up, it doesn't seem like the Trade Consortium has really made too much of a big deal about this. Nobody's said really anything. Nobody's said, hey, where the fuck are our guys?
Just saying that nobody misses them.
It's not necessarily that nobody misses them. It's more like from the news clippings that you're getting, it seems more like they're trying to downplay the fact that they sent delegates to begin with.
Oh.
Like they're like, well, we'll just ignore that happened, and then continue to ask, hey, where's our shipments? And all of the responses from Grit have been vague. Queries from Tradeport result in vague responses to the effect that prospecting has not shown any good results lately, or that extraction has been difficult, but there's been no firmed up responses as to why this has gone on. In addition,
no, this thing happened, and we're just gonna not figure out why, and we're just gonna move on with this. So about our product,
right? Yes. Well, yeah, and so Tradeport has now not received 2 shipments of ore from this planet. The entire operation is about mining ore, and now now they're bringing in you guys. Plausible deniability.
gotcha.
The news
place that we should be prepared for trouble.
The news reports that you pick up from about the situation on Wildwood are quite odd. Everything that you hear is that these are all fantastical, kind of like weekly news report and or Weekly World News and Enquirer, tabloid kind of news reports coming from the Wildwood system, stating that logging operations have been attacked. There's been reports of a beast that may be referred to as the Wendigo or the Aranalaska, which is a local legend in the FSN region, that has been killing loggers, and that there are disappearances. Nobody knows what's going on there.
But guys, we get to kill something if we go here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go hunting. That's what I like to do first. I guess the trade thing, though, is more pressing to the people. But
it's up to
I
you.
think if we go one, we're going to get to kill people. Where the other one, we're going to get to kill something fantastic.
Yeah.
This one, we get to kill people. Either way, we're going to kill some stuff.
Yeah,
I'd rather kill.
Do you want to kill
fantastic
corrupt
beasts.
Union delegates, or do you want to kill Wendigo? I mean, those are your options.
I say Wendigo is my vote.
Yeah, Wendigo sounds far more fun.
Yeah, let's go kill Wendigo.
All right. Well,
We'll deal with the Union reps after. We'll scare them into compliance.
All right. So you guys, of course, because Deepnight Revelation is in dry dock, or potentially will be in dry dock soon, you will be taking your own ship, the Destinex, the Deepnight Scout.
I got no problem with that. I like the Scout.
Yeah.
Pappy's like, I can fly the Scout just fine.
We're gonna take the good. Yeah, we'll be great.
So, you are given coordinates to Wildwood, and so whoever is wanting to can make a astrogation plus intellect or education check, and you can make that with a boon because you are given pretty recent coordinates.
I've only got a 2 in that. There may be people who are better.
I got it too.
I've got a lot.
Yeah, your education pays off.
And I've already and 2 ranks.
We'll give it to the Brainiac.
There you go.
With
Astrogate, you fucking nerd. Yeah. Okay.
I pull right up next to the curb, just right up to the Wendigo, right next to it.
Right. Yes, and it only takes him like an hour. You guys are heading out to the 100 diameter gem. Oh, well, I guess Pappy, you need to make a piloting starship plus dex check.
I can pilot.
Yeah. And just out of curiosity, there's a chart for this, I believe. I might have just looked in the wrong book, which you would think that this would be in the. Oh no, it is. Kind of. Yeah, I would say that to get to your 8-hour or to your 100 diameter jump limit, you're talking about 8 hours, especially at the thrust rate of the Scout. I think it's got what thrust 2,
No, the Scout's faster than
That's
that.
kind of,
thrust 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say it's got to be better than that.
So 6 hours, and you are there. In the first hour, Mel is able to crunch the numbers to get you to Wildwood. And I just had it up. Why am I closing? What's your power? Let's see here.
And then once we're set, I'll fire us up.
Yeah, who's got anybody? Well, I don't know that you need to.
There's your J drive,
There's
14.
160. Shit, this thing doesn't even need a power check. I mean, you can choose to dim lights if you want to, which is tradition, but you don't have to. Yeah, Sarda jumps you, and you guys are in jump for a week. What are you doing for your week? Are you studying? Are you reading up on Wildwood? What are you doing?
I'm gonna do.
I'm gonna keep
I'm
working
gonna
on
study all the information I can on Wildwood. So
Okay.
I'll do that.
I'm gonna keep working on vac suit training.
Okay, you can
I'm gonna
add
keep working on my training.
You can add a week to study time.
I don't know yet because I want to see. I got a long ass way to go, but it is important. No, I'm gonna see what I can find out. I should have done this when I was on the station. I'm gonna do the week. Next time we're on the station, I'm gonna start looking at the economic system here to see where money can be made, so we can get some of these credits not on fucking loan.
So, you're wanting to do economic research on the region?
Yeah,
Okay.
I figure us actually having money for this sector would not be the worst idea.
Okay.
So I
So
can start manufacturing diamonds or something.
let me come back to you in just a second. Wes, have Bocephus make a electronics, computers plus intellect or education check.
All right. All right. You know, one time there was this lady and she had real big vagina lips and she asked me to do a reduction, but she wanted it to be private and insisted I told nobody.
And she wanted to be cybernetic so she could clap
Right,
them
well,
together.
You know, I got
Played
done with the
Cyberpunk
procedure,
2020. I know how
and
this goes.
she woke up and she finds 3 roses on her nightstand, you know, and she's like, what the fuck? I thought you weren't going to tell anybody. And I was like, you know, I didn't want you to go through all that shit alone. So I left you a rose, you know, so that you'd wake up to some joy. And my nurse, she too had this procedure and it was very troublesome. So she left you one. And then she goes, well, what's the 3rd rose for? And it was like, well, the burn victim upstairs was really appreciative of his new ears.
Vaginoplasty.
And see, my joke brought in the excellent
Oh.
roll.
There you go.
Lord.
You
Yeah.
use the joke gods to.
I have appeased the dice with my wit and humor.
So your database brings in information from Tradeport, of course. I mean, it always does. That's standard procedure. And you learn that Wildwood was a small, reasonably large, and well-equipped downport on the world of Wildwood called the City of David. David's Landing. And David's Landing is not usually considered to be a passenger-friendly terminal. It is all cargo. And Wildwood's major exports are all agricultural produce and timber, bulk items, heavy-duty loading systems. All of that is geared towards loading cargo, not passengers. So very few people visit Wildwood. David's Landing shows that it is an economic center important to the world, and it is essentially a small city with a number of outlying settlements around, the star town around the downport that acts as a cultural center and economic center for the world. Aside from that, the Wildwood as a whole is a very strange world. It is a totally locked world, and this side is just aimed enough that the equator is the only part that actually gets most of the sun. The other side, or the opposing side, is mostly barren rock, but this side is a lush jungle-like forest. And this the David's Landing is set up to essentially facilitate the offloading of timber. That's what they do. It's not a busy port. There are a number of trade ships that land every couple of weeks, and these are, usually Malin class land, pick up 400 tons worth of timber and carry it wherever they go. David's Landing has a large industrial base in creating timber planks and things like that. They don't just ship the raw timber unless that's what you want. But they usually ship. It's basically they ship out a flying Home Depot full of 2x4s. All of them warped because that's what Home Depot does. But you do pick up that there have been a number of reports, and this goes back years. There have been a number of reports of sightings in the forest by loggers of some kind of large creature. And it's not necessarily an arboreal creature. They don't describe it as being like an ape or anything like that. They describe a large creature that they have titled an old Earth story from the hold on here. Sorry, I'm having my Adobe is like freaking the fuck out. They are describing it as the Ranalaska, which is an old Earth legend from back during the Old Earth Union, during the Long Night. there were tales of some Wendigo Sasquatch kind of spirit or creature that moved through the forest. And these loggers, I mean, for all accounts, these are pretty normal individuals. One account says that they were abducted by an Analaska, brought up into from a beam of light into a ship, and experimented on, and then deposited back into a different location in the forests of Wildwood.
Did y'all hear about that guy that got caught kidnapping people and doing anal probes? He was dressed as an alien.
Did that happen in Arkansas?
No, it was from Texas, but he'd hit, I don't know if
well,
it was
of course it
parody
came
or
from
not.
Texas.
I don't know if it was parody or not, but the story was he'd gotten like 73 people and kidnapped them and dressed up like an alien and gave them anal probes.
You stand outside the right roadhouse. All you need is a really bright light, and I'm
the moonshine. Yeah.
So that's what you learn about Wildwood.
Yeah. Okay. It looks like we're going to be with lumberjacks.
So I said I was coming back to Mel.
Yeah.
Mel, you were looking for economic information?
Yep, need a much better idea of how this place is structured, where there are opportunities to exploit, so we can not necessarily have to barter for everything.
Yeah, let me... So, what you learn is that everything at Tradeport is barter. Like, everything. However, there are two major forms of currency that are accepted throughout the region. The first is the Commonwealth credit. Hold on here. And this thing's like pitching a fit. So the Commonwealth credit is, as you've heard before, it's a metallic porcelain plaque that has been run through with computer electronics, and it has a round symbol on it, a black circle that you can press your thumb to, and you can press your thumb to it, and it will allow you to either set it to open or closed. If you leave it open, when you hand somebody your credits, they can spend it however they want. If you leave it to closed, which the most common and most frequent reason for doing so would be to deposit it in the bank. For instance, you have a plaque, a Commonwealth plaque that's worth 100 mega credits worth of money, right? So 100 million credits, and you close it and you deposit it to the bank. The bank then holds that and issues credit based on that credit check that you have deposited. This is the Commonwealth credit is suitable because it is based off of the general GDP of every planet in the Commonwealth, and so its value can fluctuate. Then the other value is the Grand Republic, the TD, as they call it. The Grand Republic has an entire culture a lot like Americans, the TD is a physical credit chip. They're issued in metallic coins, usually of a octagonal or oblong size, like a 1-inch coin, and each of them is valued at anything from 1 TD up to 100. And there are some TDs, much more rare, that may be worth 1 mega credit, but those are extremely rare. The reason why they haven't gone over to an electronic database like the Commonwealth is because the public of the Grand Republic, the people, are just emotionally attached to the idea of walking in someplace and slamming down a fistful of money to buy something. They like to hear that clank when it slams on the counter. And so, as a culture, those people have kind of denied the electronic credit kind of idea. And so all of those are considered a non-electronic credit. And it is said that the TD is actually a more stable credit because it's backed by the entire government backing of or their amount of precious metals, as opposed to the GDP of each planetary body in their polity. So they have a vault full of platinum and gold that denotes the amount or the value of the TD, as opposed to the Commonwealth that 200 planets are their GDP falling or raising is what the value of our credit is. And so it is considered that the TD is a better bet as far as trading goes.
All right.
If you're wanting money, Mel, we can go gambling.
There's always gambling.
I assure you that they are not prepared for my mental ability to figure out who's got what.
I feel like my brokerage skills are rusting.
Oh, well then use them. Oh yeah, I'm just saying that anytime you want to go gamble and make money, I'll read people's service sites for you till the cows come home. I'm just saying.
Go ahead and make a broker plus intellect or education check. That's pretty good. So you kind of read this information, you get some economic background knowledge of the region, and I mean, the initial thing that comes to you is that one, Tradeport is barely holding on. As a whole, from what you're reading, Tradeport is not spending near enough to maintain itself, and it maybe has 100 years worth of life,
right,
before the whole thing falls apart. The second
I
thing
hope
that
we're gone before then.
well, yeah, you would hope. The second thing that you would learn is that a lot of this money could be spent in upgrading Tradeport, but you see trends where Tradeport Consortium is spending it in other directions. For instance, you can see trends where they aren't spending. They're not spending on grit. In fact, they have reduced money spent to grit. Another example is they have reduced spending on patrols going to Wildwood. So security has been lessened at Wildwood, and repair costs, maintenance costs have been reduced at Grit. But you don't see an increase in spending for Tradeport as a whole. And that money seems to funnel down and then get dispersed into a myriad of areas, including Little Envais.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, it's graft, right?
Right. I mean, I would think that if you've ever watched
No,
the newsroom, so where she's got the Bloomberg connection, and she's got like 12 monitors in front of her, and she's tracking every rate. I would think that would be what Mel's capable of doing. And so you're tapped into the trading network, and this is what you're seeing. Basically, that the money is getting funneled into Tradeport, and rather than going to Tradeport or to the needed imports that Tradeport needs to survive, it's going out into a myriad of shell corps and minor actions. None of it's going to repairs or anything else. So, to your question, how do you make money in that?
Yeah, because it's not my job to clean up how shitty they're being run, who's stealing what. The question is how do we turn that into profit for us so that we don't have to trade everything?
Well, that's true. But knowing that things are being run shittily is usually the first clue that one needs in order to trade big and to make money. Usually.
True, because then you go, oh, here's a need.
Right. There's always a need. There's always a need. There's always a want. Your first big clue in this is that, Tradeport, the current administration, which is Marcus Feisler, as executive of the Trade Consortium, is simply not. They're not funneling money to the parts of Tradeport that it needs to be funneled to. There are, of course, opposing political parties, but because Trade Consortium isn't really a political party, they're more like differing unions. So you would be your chances would be more investing in a differing trade union that you would think that would do a better job. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to make more money. You know what I mean? Investing in an individual union that backs a political candidate can be a losing proposition. Ask the Democrats. It's true. I'm sorry.
But the inability to stop repeating the same mistakes over and over and over again.
Yes. No. Oddly, that doesn't work.
Yeah, might suggest that they're not learning, and therefore you should not. Yeah.
I'd argue that they're not. That they're doing very well. It's just that they don't know how to they don't know how to use PR to actually advertise what they're effectively doing. And as a result, the lies are allowed to stand. the Biden economy is the strongest economy the United States has ever had, and yet we've repeatedly heard the right argue that it wasn't.
True.
And you're like, oh, okay, objectively it was. So
that's true. And I mean, when you look at the numbers, you can't argue that. You're right.
And so it isn't that they're incompetent; it's that they fail to defend their competence constantly,
continually, like all the
Correct.
fucking time.
Yeah.
I mean, and no shit, this goes back to the fucking 60s. Just continually bad PR from their end. But that's what we're talking about. Like if you're going to back a particular labor union, it's a gamble. So that's what you're looking at. I mean, you're looking at multiple different trade unions that could potentially take control of what is the trade consortium, and they are made up of multiple different guilds. Right now, Marcus Feisler is the executive in charge. So I don't know how Mel wants to work that idea. I mean, theoretically you could. I mean, Mel got a free 300 credits of Commonwealth money. He could invest that into one of the trade unions, and then potentially manipulate. I mean, you're tech level 15 over tech level 12, so you could potentially manipulate events to replace Marcus Feisler as executive or replace the board of directors. I mean, this is the kind of thing that you could do. You get a +3 to any electronics computers checks off the top because of your tech advantage.
I'm not sure if that was the type of needle moving I was thinking of when I.
I'm just making suggestions. Right. I'm just saying these are options.
I was thinking more along the commodity level of they missing this, which is a screamingly high price. It's easy for us to make that, sell it.
So one of the things,
cash.
So one of the agreements that was made with Marcus Feisler in order for Deepnight Revelation to do their repairs was that Marcus Feisler needed facilities or needed upgrades to his facilities in order to manufacture tech level 12 electronics, and not even advanced electronics, basic electronics. And you guys agreed to it because I mean it's fucking nothing, right? And the reason initially you guys had brought up, well, shit, we're tech level 15, we can manufacture all sorts of shit, and he's not interested in that. All he was interested in was creating a base that he can create at least for a little while, until the manufacturing facilities give out, because he knows you guys aren't going to stick around. He wants to create tech level 12 electronics so that he can produce them cheaply and flood the market and beat his competitors. That's it. That's all he wants. So most of these places aren't even interested in being uplifted to 13, 14, or 15 tech level. They just want to beat each other at the status quo of tech level 12. That's what you're seeing.
You could probably do good stuff by using technological advances around TL12 or TL13 and sell them pretty well if you wanted. I mean, hell,
Yeah, I mean, if you were to offer some shit from tech level 13, if you look through the central supply catalog and look at like home goods and just go through, I wish they had a chart by tech level. That would be great, but it's not. But if you just look through like home goods and look
That
for
would be
shit
great.
that would be tech level 13, that would be tits. That would sell immediately. And Deepnight Revelation would be able to crop those out immediately. I mean, maybe not right now, but yeah. I really wish they had a list by tech level. And it
yeah, you just have to scroll through and glance at the tech levels and
right, that would be fucking fantastic, right? I mean,
Well, if you look, one of the things we might want to make for them would be drones. Repair drones are tech level 10,
there you go.
and that would
They
because,
probably have those. I mean,
well,
they are a TL12 society, so they've got drones, and they
right. But I'm just saying that the lack of maintenance being done on this station, indicates to me that they could be using some repair drones.
right, but they would
Cool.
need repair drones with advanced computer brains that would be able to think on their own, because
you want
Well,
repair robots.
you
not
want repair
drones.
robots, not drones.
Well,
Right.
yeah, I mean, you could train somebody to operate the drones, but
I'm just trying to give examples for Mel, because this is an entirely new economic situation.
a maintenance bot is tech level 12, and it's 16 grand.
Yeah.
Right. We have 300. So maybe the investment's the better way to go. Get some graft.
Well, your 300 Commonwealth credits doesn't mean you have to invest it. You could hang on to it and instead flood the market with tech level 13 robots. I mean, out of curiosity, and maybe Wes knows this. Wes, what is the tech level of a crew droid?
Ooh. I don't know that off top, but I can sure look it up.
Let me take a look.
I mean,
It's on page 153 of. So they already have tech level 12 crew droids, so they can already field their ships with robotic crew members if they don't have a full complement. Man, so I mean,
well, just because they're TL12 doesn't mean they have access to all TL12 advancements. They've just broken certain.
they definitely have TL12 robots. Definitely. I mean, the reason why I know this is because they have up to J3 technology. So they're not, they're not Luddites.
I want to buy one of these flying swords. These are awesome.
I had one of those grav guns that flew around and hovered around me.
Flying sword.
Yeah.
Yeah. The defender sword from D&D.
Well, it's only 5,300. Oh no, it's 53,000 credits. That is pretty expensive for a weapon. but it is a static blade, which is not bad to begin with.
So I mean, they're like I said, tech level 12. They're not Luddites. They have
Right.
crew droids and shit like that. They may even have astromechs, but they're not. There is obviously some higher tech level stuff that you guys can offer. You just have to. If Mel just comes up with a couple of the items, I'm sure.
So tech level 13 to differentiate from 12 is
Probably 150 years, 200 years.
right, but it's battle dresses, it's cloning of body parts, it's jump forward travel.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, they're going to be really fucking interested in your ship. I mean,
right.
you guys have already addressed this, which is why you did the high security. I mean, obviously, these guys are going to be looking out their windows like, oh, shit, look at that. We want that. But, I mean, aside from J4,
Right. Previously, when we dealt with a lower tech civilization, they had problems with their jump drives. So we were able to just sort of, rather than give them higher tech jump drives, we could actually troubleshoot and point out, this is this is what's causing you your problems.
Right. And
so
the biggest difference with these guys is that they already understand J3. It's not a huge leap for them to understand J4. You're basically talking about a micronization of technology and some advanced algorithms, and that's it. And I now want to kill myself because I just used the word algorithms. Computer programming. Let's just call it.
They don't have, to my knowledge, there's no. Can they actually build ships here?
They did at one time, but their mobile dock is now down and out. That's
what we're opening up for them.
Yeah, their mobile dock could construct up to 800-ton ships, but I mean, potentially, after you guys get done modifying it and repairing it, I mean, it's a mobile dock, so I'm imagining that that Revelation, it's going to move around to do what needs to be done, but I would think that yes, once you're done, they will be able to construct 800-ton class Malin traders, free traders.
Gotcha.
I'm not a fan of that.
Assuming that they, and of course, and there's also there's also of course, the same class as the on here. Let me look. The Distant Ranger class, which is also common throughout the region. This is the same as Clayton's Chariot. It's a 400-ton multi-role, free trader. These ships are generally purchased. I mean, with the completion of the mobile dock, they'll be able to crank these out. But you're probably only looking at like maybe 1 or 2 a year of the Distant Ranger and maybe 1 a year of the Malin class. So, and that's only if they agree to do one or the other.
But that would really shift the power to whoever has control of that dock then, wouldn't it?
That's gonna deeply fuck up this entire area.
Well, Tradeport isn't the only port in the region. I mean, there's the Commonwealth, a huge polity that fields 30,000-ton destroyers, and then there's the Grand Republic that has 20,000-ton destroyers. They have ship docks. This isn't the only place.
Oh, okay. This is just one of many.
Right. This is the
All
only.
we would be doing is
This is the only.
leveling up the power for this one.
This is the only place that you know of that is completely neutral to all of the powers. So this is where all of the free traders go in order to get their ships, or would go to get their ships made. But being able to get a ship constructed is going to, of course, be conducive to the fact that they are retrieving supplies from grit, because that's where they get all their ore. And
So
I would
kind of also
imagine
level up grit then.
yeah,
Or
well, I
become
mean,
more.
yeah, you guys are on your way to Wildwood. So, I mean, does that kind of explain the economic situation in the region, or
It does. Now I just need to figure out what I want to do with it.
all right? So you guys come out of jump. Let me see. I think I have a thing for this. I got a thing.
Yeah.
This is the Wildwood system.
The thing was the backbone of the Fantastic Four.
Yes. Yes, he was. God loves the thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I always wanted to see the comic with the thing getting with Sue Storm.
Oh yeah. I don't know if Storm could handle him.
Right?
You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
You know.
He had a girlfriend later.
He did.
Miss Thing.
Well, you know, Johnny walking in.
That was one of my favorite episodes, the F4, where they all go to the other dimension and they have the backups for 7 to 17 seconds. They'll be gone, and then they don't show back up.
Oh,
So
right.
The new Fantastic Four is like, here, it's Medusa, Ant-Man, She-Hulk, I believe, and then Ben Grimm's girlfriend wearing a costume that looks like
The whole
Thing.
Ant-Man / Goliath chain that went on with the Avengers in the late 60s through the early 80s. Totally. I'm like, what the fuck were you guys high while you're like, seriously, are you doing shrooms? What the fuck?
you know who would win between the Hulk and the Thing, don't you?
Goliath?
Whoever the writer writes wins.
Right, whoever the writer writes wins.
Whoever has better plot armor.
Yeah.
Whoever's story it is, that's whoever wins.
Well, and
Yeah.
that's the story of all comics or manga. It's plot armor. Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
you guys come out
Like
of
Batman is
jump
It's the
Into-
biggest plot armor ever.
into Wildwood, and this is the Wildwood system. I mean, you've got an outer belt or a belt system here. You've got a number of different gas giants. You got an inner gas giant. You've got a small outer gas giant, and then there is Wildwood itself, which appears, like I said, is a totally locked system, and it is totally locked in exactly the right position that one half of the equator is just covered in vegetation. The other side, nah, not so much. Did you want to explore any of these other or other planets, or just head straight to um,
Let's get our Yeti.
get your
Yeah.
Yeti on? Yeah. All right. Whoops.
It's going to be an indigenous alien race, of course, but
You think?
yeah.
So, who wants to make a electronics communications check? I'm sorry,
is not a
electronics
computation.
communications plus intellect or education.
That's Mel.
Didn't
Eight,
do particularly
eight
well on
does
that
it.
one.
So, you are able to establish contact with David's Landing on Wildwood, and this guy, the static comes through, and he's like, oh my God, I'm so glad that you guys are here. You're here to you're here to look into the Analaska, right?
That's right.
We've had a number of people that have gone missing. You're cleared to landing, and they give you a landing site, and it's not a landing bay or a typical landing number. You are given a geometrical object site and a beacon.
They're sending it straight to it. They're not even like, here, come here first. It's like, nope, go there, kill the thing.
Pappy, you can make a piloting plus, or I'm sorry, piloting Starcraft plus dexterity check.
Piloting StarCraft plus dexterity. Here
You
we
get
go.
you get a +2 to that.
Ooh. Boom.
Nice. So this, I'm gonna let me log out of this or zoom out of this. Oh wait, yes it will. There we go. So this is the entire site. David's Landing is way over here. Way off over here. And there's a small landing site with a number of it's basically a tower with a number of landing places that can accommodate up to 800-ton ships that will land. And you can see that there's, as you land your ship down, there is a series of roll-on, roll-off systems that can move cargo onto these ships that land. Obviously, yours isn't one of them. And you can see that there's no group that's coming to visit you or anything, but you are at the the facility. You're looking out the window. There's like nobody, and looking around you, you just see like big claws that are grabbing groups of timber and dropping them onto sleds. You can see that there's another couple of ships that are sitting around that are being loaded up, but your docking bay is silent.
I guess it's time to get suited up to go hunting.
Yep. We just really need fuel. Would be all we'd want.
Oh, well, yes. Yeah, you can refuel, but you have a writ from Tradeport, right?
Yeah.
So refueling's free for you. Docking and berthing is free.
Cool.
It's nice.
Yeah, your computer just automatically registers that docking and fuel is free. But you don't see anybody rushing to hook up hoses or anything.
Well, let's wander around, try to find where that person is.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to break here.
All right.
And we will pick this up next week at 6 o'clock on Friday night.
Sounds good.
All right.
Yeah, yo.
Sounds
Go
fantastic.
hunting.
Thanks for running.
All right. Have a
Thanks,
good night,
Mark.
guys.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Yep.
Take
See
care.
you tomorrow.